Welcome to a new class of data analysis with Python. This is still a part of the class of Python basic refreshers. So in this class, we're going to cover everything that you need to know about loops and conditionals. In my previous class, I've shown you about variables and data types. So in this class, we're going to continue and advance with loops and conditionals. Now, another thing you have to keep in mind that as this is the basic part of Python basics, make sure do not skip any part of this class because it's going to basically foundation the basic part of Python, which is going to help you in further classes of this course. So let's get into the specific folder and let's open up Jupyter Notebook. So as you can see that we have opened up our file over here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to follow up the same step by opening up CMD and here type in Jupyter Notebook. Hit on enter and let's wait for a bit until it opens up our server. Now over here, we're going to click on new IP kernel tree. Let's close this off and let's rename it. Click on rename and let's type in loops and variables. Let's open up this now. Now, before getting into the practical part of this class, what we have to learn about is what is list and what are variables or what are dictionaries. Now, let's go through them one by one. So first off, what is a list? A list is an ordered, changeable, mutable collection of items which are defined using a square bracket, are also known as the secondary bracket. If you have no prior experience, then it is totally fine because we're going to cover up all of the basics that you need to know in these classes. Now, first thing that you need to know about is how you are going to create a list. Now, a list can also refer to an array of data. Now, it could be a collection of integer value or a collection of string values. String values are basically, alphabets or words, which I've shown you in my previous class, and integer are numerical values. It can also be float values having decimal value. So let's say in this case, I want to define in a specific array of data, or let's say a list. Now type in fruits. Let's say I'm going to put in fruits as there are going to be multiple of them. Double quotation, let's say apple, comma, cherry, comma, and let's say banana. Now close it off with the secondary bracket and hit on shift and enter. Now you will see that we will not get any output because we did not print any or we did not put any function to represent our array of data. But a new cell has been created without showing me any error. That means the array of data or the list that we have entered is validated. Now we can initiate a lot of these functions or do a lot using this exact array. Now let's say I want to access a specific list item from the array of data, or let's say from the list. So if you want to access any list item, you also have to know about indexing. If you have no prior experience to Python, it is totally fine. But in most coding formats or snippets, there is a specific format. Such as you can see we have three data, such as apple, cherry, and banana. In most normal cases, what people are going to do is that the first one is apple, so that the index is 1. Cherry is number 2, so it is number 2. And then we have banana at the third, so it is, or it should be number 3, right? But it's not how it is in coding. In coding, what you have to know is the first one always starts off with 0. So apple is 0, cherry is 1, and banana is 2. So indexing always starts with 0. If you want to print out any of these specific variables or this listed data, you have to first off put in print, which is the most normal case. Then define in the controller, or let's say the specific variable, or which array of data should you want to print. Let's say I want to print something out from the fruits variable. Now, as you can see, that the list of data was defined using the secondary bracket. In the same way, you have to print out the index value first. So you have to put in the secondary bracket to validate it. In this case, I want to print out cherry. So cherry is at index number 1. So I'm going to put in 1, close off the secondary brackets and then the parentheses. Hit on Shift Enter and you will see cherry will be printed. If I want to print out apple, you have to put in 0. Shift Enter and we have 0. If you want to put in banana, 2, then print it out and you will see banana will appear. If you want to print out 2 variables, hit on Shift Enter and you can see this is not how it works. So you have to put in like this, or in most cases, you have to put in only 1 variable. In that case, it will only be able to use one of these variables to print it out. Okay, so let's just keep it as 1. There are also a couple of things that you can do using this specific listed data, such as you'll be able to change any item. Now, if you want to change any item, you can see the first line that is still being appeared up as fruits, as apple, cherry, and banana is still being validated. Now, whenever you want to change an item, you also have to define from which index do you want to change. Let's say I want to change out banana. So banana is basically on index number 2. So first off, you have to define in the controller as fruits, secondary brackets, put in 2, close it off, type in equal, double quotation. Let's say I want to put in strawberry instead of, the banana. Double quotation and hit on Shift Enter. If you see you don't face any errors, that means it has already been changed. If I try to put in print, put in fruits, secondary bracket, and put in 2 here, and close off the parentheses and hit on Shift Enter, you will see instead of getting banana, we're going to get strawberry. Now over here, what I can do is that we can put in 2 over here and we'll still get strawberry. So before this line, it was showing us banana, but now it is showing us strawberry because it has been changed, or the array of data or the listed item has been changed using the function of controller and the index value and then putting in the exact string that you want to put in. You can also put in integer value if you want to. If you want to put in integer value, you have to put in, let's say, 1, 2, hit on Shift Enter. And if I put in print over here, open up the parentheses, type in fruits, let's say 2 over here, close off the parentheses, and now you will see that we have 12 over here, which has been changed. So this is basically how it is going to work. Now, what I'm going to do over here, I'm not going to keep it 12 because I'm going to change it to a fruit name. So let's put in fig over here. There we go. Now we have fig right over here. We can also delete this and it will be empty again. Now, the next thing that we're going to learn about is how you can add an item in the listed data. Now, whenever you add in an item, it is obviously going to start from the next one. So after banana. So which makes it the index number 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, whichever we put in over here. But we're not going to put in any data like typing it over here. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to append it. So type in fruits, then type in dot, type in append. Open up the parentheses. Let's say I'm going to put in grapes. Close off the parentheses and hit on Shift and Enter. And you will see that no error has been found. So type in print, type in fruits, secondary brackets, put in 3, and hit on Shift and Enter. And there we go, we have grapes right over here. That means that the third one has been applied. Now, let's learn also how to remove an item. If you want to learn how to remove an item, there is also a specific function for that, which is the remove. Type in fruits, put in dot, remove. Then open up the parentheses and put in which data you want to change. Let's say I want to remove in cherry. Close off the parentheses and hit on Shift Enter, and cherry will be removed. Let's type in print fruits, but in secondary bracket, and cherry was on the index number 1. So if I put in 1 right now, it is going to show me fig, or let's say banana, whatever it is. You can see we have fig. If I put in 0, it's going to show me apple. If I put in 2, it's going to show me grapes. So you can see the name, which is, you can see, has been removed. So cherry has basically been removed from the specific list. If I put in 3 over here, we can see there is specifically no tree. So we can put in 0. We can put in 1. Let's put in 1 over here. And we can obviously put in 2. And obviously we have removed one of the items that we don't want to use. Now the last thing that we need to know about lists is looping through a list. If you want to print out all of these at the same time in one lines, like each of them in one lines, you have to use the for function. So type in for, type in fruit, in the controller fruits variable, colon, then you have to put in, let's say, print, then type in open parentheses and type in fruit. So you can see this is how it is going to look like. So for fruit, in fruits. Okay, now I'm going to keep it like this, hit on Shift and Enter, and this is how it might look like. But if you don't want it like this, it is totally fine. Let's close off this line and type in for fruit in fruits. Type in print, type in fruits. Shift Enter, and there we go. We have apple, we have fig, and we also have grapes. And obviously the cherry and banana has been removed. So this is basically how you are going to work with specific lists in Jupyter Notebook. Now let's move on to the next part. It's about dictionaries in Python. So what are dictionaries, or what is a dictionary? A dictionary stores data in key value pairs, which is defined using curly braces or the third bracket. Now let's learn them step by step. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is we want to create a dictionary in the same way we created lists. Now here, I'm going to put in, let's say, student as the variable name, equal, third bracket. Let's say I'm going to put in name, colon, double quotation, as we're going to define in string value, let's say Alice. After that, put in comma, double quotation, age, colon, let's say age is 21, comma, double quotation, grade. Here, I'm going to put in A grade. Close off the third bracket. Hit on Shift and Enter. So, another variable has been created, or something like a list has been created. But it basically is like a dictionary. Now, in the same way, you will also be able to access these values in dictionary. It is also simple and quite similar to the list. So type in print, open up the parentheses, define in the variable as student, secondary brackets. Let's say, what value do you want? Do you want the name? Do you want the age? Or do you want the grade? Let's say I want the name. Close it off with the secondary bracket and the parentheses. Now you can see we have Alice as the name. If we put in age, we have 21. If we put in grade, it will show me a grade. But if I put in Alice over here, you can see it is an error because it is defined using this colon over here. So you have to put in the controller, such as name, age, or grade, or whatever you put in. I can also put in more category over here. Let's say nationality. Let's say USA. Okay, so if I put in nationality, you can see I have to make sure you have to put in the exact same thing. Now you can see we have a, I'm going to copy this. And paste it. Now it might also show you off as an error. It's like a couple of times, but there is basically a specific, data which it validates. So what we can do is we can remove it. Okay. Now I'm going to do is I'm just going to change it to name again. Now the next thing that you want to do is changing the values. So first off, put in the value or the name of the array, such as student, double quotation, and I want to change the name, or let's say the age value. Close off the secondary bracket, type in equal. Let's say I'm going to put in 25 in this case. If I hit on Shift Enter, this is how it looks like. I'm going to copy this, paste it over here, and instead of name, I'm going to put in age. Now you can see it has changed into 25, where we have put in 21 over here. Now let's move on to the next one. It's about adding a new key pair value. Let's say I'm going to put in student. Now you can see what I did over here, we have put in nationality. But it also detects and validates a specific category. Let's say if I want to put in a subject, it is going to be validated. So if I put in subject, secondary bracket, double quotation, let's say subject over here, double quotation to close it off with the secondary bracket. Type in equal, double quotation, and type in math. Now here, I'm going to put in Shift and Enter. Now you can see this has been validated. So if I put in print student secondary brackets and put in subject double quotation, close off the secondary brackets and close off the parentheses, Shift Enter, and there you can see we have math as the subject. Okay, so this is basically how you're going to add a new key value pair. Whatever you put in over here, let's say maybe I want to put in science. Like whatever you put in is going to be validated. Okay, there we go. Now, the next thing is how to remove a key value pair. If you want to do that, now in list, what we did was remove. You can try doing the same thing over here, like for the list, which is basically student and type in dot remove. Then after that, open up the parentheses, double quotation. Let's say maybe I want to remove in subject, but it is not going to work like this. Okay, because now it is detecting up as like a dictionary. So for dictionary, you have to put in del, then put in the controller value. Now here, I want to remove in the grade. So here, hit on Shift Enter, and then the grade will be removed. So if I put in, let's say Control C, Control V over here, and if I put in grade, it will not be detected because there is no such thing as grade which is available right now. Okay, now the next thing or the last thing that we need to know about is looping through a dictionary. In the same way, we have to use the for function for key, then put in comma, value in student dot items. Open and close off the parentheses so whatever is inside is validated. Now here, I'm going to put in print, open up the parentheses, F, double quotation, third bracket, and put in key, close off the third bracket, and put in colon, and then open up the third bracket and define in the value. In this way, everything has been validated. Now close off the double quotation and also the parentheses. Hit on Enter or Shift Enter, and you can see the name is Alice, age 25, and the subject is science. So now we have learned every basics that we need to know about, lists and also dictionary. Now let's show you a finally combined code snippet of lists and also dictionaries. So I'm going to move on to the next one. First off, let's work with list. I'm going to put in fruits, or let's just remove all of these. I'm going to put in fruit over here is equal, like these secondary brackets. I'm going to put in apple, comma, double quotation, let's say banana, double quotation, comma, double quotation. I'm going to put in mango. Secondary brackets. Then I'm going to put in fruits. Let's say fruit 1. Put in equal, double quotation, orange, fruits, fruit dot append. Open up the parentheses, grapes. Then I'm going to put in fruit dot remove, open parentheses, double quotation. Let's say I'm going to put in mango, close it off. I'm going to put in print, open up the parentheses, put in double quotation, fruits list, colon, quotation close, close off the parentheses. Here, I'm going to try putting in fruits on all of these cases. Here I'm going to put in for fruit in fruits, colon, print out fruit. So we are basically done with the fruit section. Here I'm going to put in print, open parentheses, single quotation, backward slash, n. Now let's work off with dictionaries. Student equal, third bracket, double quotation, name, Alice, comma, age, let's say 21 in this case, and let's put in the grade value, A grade. That's all, third bracket to close it off. Student, then put in double quotation as age, double quotation to close it off, secondary brackets, equal, let's change it to 24. Then I'm going to put in student, let's add in another one, which is subject, close off these secondary brackets, put in, let's say, math. Then I'm going to put in DEL, student, and here I'm going to put in double quotation or secondary bracket first. Let's remove grade from here. And then I'm going to put in print, open up the parentheses, double quotation, student, dictionary, double quotation to close it off with the colon, close off the parentheses. I'm going to put in for key, comma, value in student dot items, open up colon. Here I'm going to put in print f double quotation, third bracket as key. Now after this, what I'm going to do is first off, you have to make sure you put in the third bracket over here, close off the third bracket, put in colon, third bracket again, and define any specific value. In this way, this is done. Close off the parentheses and hit on Shift Enter. So you can see we have the fruits list, apple, orange, grapes. Student dictionary, we have Alice, age 24, and subject is math. So this is how you'll be able to apply and make it effective at the end, and also make sure that everything runs along in one code snippet. Okay, now I'm going to be saving all of these files, with the resource folder with this course, so you don't have to worry about it. You can check out the, code snippets and also try practicing along. So that is it for this class. So thank you for watching this video up till the very end, and hope you understood about everything. If you still have any confusion or any question, feel free to ask me anytime. I'm always there to help you out. So without any further ado, let's move on to our next class of data analysis with Python.